Gentlemen, we discussed yesterday about the engine control system. We noticed that the engine control system is consisting the common hardware named MPC, and this hardware could be customized in different role on the engine control system. So, which is first type of the controller we discussed yesterday? Which is the first type? First type is the engine interface control unit. Yes, how many interface unit there are on the network? There are two, A and B, engine interface control unit A and B. What is the role of the interface controller on the engine control system? What is the role of the this type of controller? Nobody knows. So is the interface between the external system and engine control system. So is receiving the input from the external system, like alarm monitor system, safety system, telegraph system, remote control system, and all other external control equipment of the engine. It's interactive with the engine, with the engine control system, by using engine interface control unit. So the role is the communication with the external system. So it's communicating with the engine telegraph. Is the communication between the engine and a remote control system. Is realizing the communication between the engine and remote control system. Is receiving signal, and it's a double communication in out with the alarm monitor system. Is realizing communication with the engine protection system. And another system which is communicate with the engine is the power management system. In case we have a shaft generator, a gas generator, this equipment must communicate with the engine in such a way to not stop the engine during the shaft generated connected. So it's a communication with another external system, power management system. Further than these roles, some algorithms are implemented on engine interface control unit. This algorithm, it will protect the engine against the harmful command received by the crew members. So we have critical speed, one of the protection algorithms. So if you manage your telegraph and you choose a speed set in the critical speed of engine, you will receive an alarm that the engine telegraph is set in the critical speed. If you are increasing too fast the engine speed, you have some speed ramp algorithm. It will reduce the increasing of your speed in such a way that you will not have a mechanical and thermal shock on your engine. Similar, if this increasing speed is above 60% engine load, you will have a load program which will protect the engine. Is it clear? How many EICU are on the engine control system, are part of the engine control system? How many EICU are two? In case one of them suffer any failure, the other one, it will control further the engine operation without unaltered speed. Engine control unit, how many controller ECU? Similar, we have two. They are duplicated controller for the same reason, to increase the redundancy of the engine. What is the role of the ECU? The role of the ECUs is the same like the governor on the MC engine. So it's calculating the fuel index required to deliver it to the engine in such a way to reach the speed set from the engine interface control unit. So it's fuel index calculation. According with the sailing area of the vessel, NOx mode, in case we are sailing emission control area, or economy mode outside of area, we seen yesterday a heat released by the engine according with the timing of the injection. So according to the sailing of the area of the vessel, it's calculating the timing for the fuel injection and timing for exhaust valve operation. So electronic profile injection. Okay. According with the sulfur content in the fuel oil, minimum feed rate and feed rate factor, a constant which is assured the same condition of the cylinder liner independent and sulfur content in the fuel oil. So according to these three parameters, is calculating the cylinder lubrication quantity. Cylinder lube oil. Further than this operational role, calculation role, electronic control units also are controlling some mechanical equipments. So in case you have in large size engine, ECU A is controlling mechanical pump number 4, ECU B pump 5. If we have large size engine, 200 bar system, they are controlling the source plate position, the flow of the pump number 4 and number 5, and are controlling the pilot valve of main starting valve. Okay, so these are the purpose of the ECUs on the engine control system. Cylinder control unit, how many CCUs are on engine control system on MEC engine, electronic compact engine?
One hot cylinder.
Yes, one per each combustion unit. So we have 6 liner, you will have 6 CCU. So we have as many as combustion unit are on engine. What is the role of the CCUs? Cylinder control unit is controlling the mechanical equipment involving combustion process. So it's controlling the exhaust valve and the fuel injection. How I control the mechanical equipment is controlling mechanical equipment by allowing hydraulic oil to activate these components. So it's controlling a hydraulic equipment named FIVA valve, fuel injection valve activation. So by controlling the FIVA valve, we leading the servo oil either to activate fuel booster or to activate the exhaust valve. Other equipment involved in the combustion process. So if firing is required to have lubrication of the liner. So ECUs is calculating how much oil is mass required to inject. I send the quantity to the CCU, and CCU, according to the position of the piston, it's activating the alpha lubricator. Okay, so someone is calculating and is informing other equipment when to inject the respective quantity. So alpha lubricator controlling. And another equipment is start pilot valve. So for each starting valve, we don't have air distributor like in MC engine. The starting sequence is implemented in the software in the engine control system. And according with the position of the crankshaft received from the encoder and the direction of rotation desired by the crew member, the pilot valve or starting valve are activated. So start pilot valve. We don't discuss about the feedback sensor. We discuss in next day also about this controlling of the combustion process. Auxiliary control unit. How many auxiliary control? What is happening if one of the CCU it will suffer a failure? We will receive a slowdown. So we will not have firing process control. We will not have lubrication. So it's required to stop the engine and to replace the respective CCUs. If we cannot stop the engine to the sailing area of the vessel, it will require to activate sometimes my headphones are stopped. It will require to activate the backup lubrication for respective not controlled combustion unit. So we will discuss about the backup lubrication in next day. Auxiliary control unit, there are always three auxiliary control unit, 1, 2, 3. What is the role of the auxiliary control unit? Why neither of them is writing? Is to control auxiliary equipment of electronic engine. Which are the auxiliary equipment? So auxiliary blower. What is happening? Neither of them is writing. So it's controlling auxiliary blower. Auxiliary blowers is controlling the electrical driven startup pump. And also is controlling the flow, the pressure of the mechanical driven pump. Scavenge control unit always is just one on the engine control system. The role is to adjust the scavenge pressure toward the reference scavenge pressure according with the actual engine load. So it's activating different actuator like variable turbine area, exhaust gas bypass, waste heat recover system in order to reach a reference scavenge pressure. And additional than this, we have another controller on our simulator, cooling water control unit. Role of this controller is to adjust the cooling water temperature in the jacket area according with the engine load. So during low load engine operation, the cooling water temperature in jacket area below 50% engine load set point is 120 degrees. So this equipment is controlling a mixing valve and circulating pump. Gentlemen, is it clear?
Yes.
Good. As I told you, we have similar MPC name, a similar hardware named MPC, which can be configured for all this type of role. In order to reduce the price of the equipment, MAN designed another type of the MPC named MPC10, and this MPC10 can be used just as CCU, can be configured just as CCU. So you can find different setup of the engine control system with MPC or with MPC and MPC10. Gentlemen, let's assume that during the engine operation, we are receiving an alarm, scavenge control unit fault, failure. The first reaction is just to acknowledge the alarm, and after that, are you checking the LED indication in order to see what is the status of the LED indication? Wait a little bit. Ah,
But how with the years? Did they improve the quality of the cards?
for the MPC?
Yeah, because I mean, whatever I heard from the guys who was there, they had the big problems because of the quality. So just like vibration, temperature, and
We discussed that the MAN, they are guaranteed they are operating until 80 degrees. One common mistake is that the crew member are using some external fans. They are open the cabinet and they are using the external fans to cool down this MPC. All the external electrical equipment which is surrounding of this MPC are creating the electrical noise, and the electrical noise are giving false alarm to the engine. So please always keep the cabinets of the MPC closed in such way to avoid the electrical noise from the external engine room machineries.
so basically they should be always shielded. Yeah.
Close. Yes, yes, yes. The cabinet always must be shut because the temperature is not a factor of the abnormal operation of the MPCs. Yes, I mean this is mainly the problem is given by the poor management of the MPC connection. All the connection must be well tied there. For the same reason, you'll create some dust material, you'll create some electrical noise, and this will interact with the normal operation of the MPC. You'll receive some failure or some false alarm. What can I tell you? Sometimes is required to reset. There are some processor similar like in your house, your computer sometimes is get freeze, so it's required to reset. I sail with the engine. Sometimes they didn't have any problem. The MPC. Sometimes I was 4 months. I didn't change any MPC. Okay. For other engine, as I told you, depend. The procedure before was to replace the MPC with a reconditioned one. Do this failure of the frequent failure of the reconditioned MPC. Nowadays, the man is recommended to replace the MPC with the new ones. I don't know. I mean, of course, the problem was with the first type of the engine. I mean, first design of the engine, 2002, 2005, 6, 7. Whereas also MN doesn't have enough or have the experience is coming with a year of the service. So of course, the quality of the engine was improved, but in the term of the MPCs, is the same. The design is the same. Maybe the quality of the welding of the micro circuits on the MPC maybe is better now, but depend
But they still
the
made
engine.
in China, maybe. Yeah.
No, mainly they are made. I mean, they are designed by a man. The biggest manufacturer of the MPC, it's MSR. It's a Mitsui. It's a Mitsui subsidiary. And mainly they are produce the MPC. Now in whatever in here we work with these same MPCs for 2 years right now. We didn't replace any of them. In terms of the managing here, I mean every week we are removing 2 or 3 when we have classrooms, so we are interchange between them. So either was not destroyed by the crew member when we make this interchange of the MPC, but we don't have vibration. This is the difference in our training center. We didn't have vibration. But I told you a story. In 2 months, I work as trainer in Cyprus for MN. In 2 months, just by interchanging one MPC, one of them doesn't start. So even sometimes yes, it's like your TV. Sometimes some electronic components are fail, and it's very difficult to find which of them it's which condenser or which other microcircuits is fail in order to replace. So the single solution is to replace complete MPC. Yes, sometimes can suffer a damage, but as I told you, I sail 4 months. I didn't receive any problem with them. Sometimes I change 2 or 3 per voyage, depend of their quality. Also, I think the vibration and also the poor management of the crew member. It's one of the failure cause of these MPCs. Gentlemen, as I told you, we receive an alarm MPC scavenge control unit failure. We are checking the LED condition. Fatal error, the LED it's in red. Whatever our LED color now, it's in green. This means it's operating normally, but let's assume for the sake of exercise that this is in a red condition. So it's required to replace the MPC. We are discussing with the captain to stop the vessel. We are stopping the engine. We are in safe area, and we are proceeding to replace the MPC. Step 1, remove the power supply from the power source. So we are accessing the power supply from engine control room. Gentlemen, as I told you, we have 2 different power sources for each MPC. This was all designed from 2016, I think. MN it's trying to, I mean, not MN, because if you pay whatever they will produce, they will sell everything. I think this is, if you pay something, of course, someone it will sell to you. But because the owner are looking to reduce the price of the engine, nowadays MAN are providing just one power supply. Could be 2 or just 1, in order, as I told you, to reduce the price of the engine control system, the price of the engine. Nowadays, you can find the setup of the engine control system just with 1 power source and a backup battery for 30 minutes additional power supply in case of the power loss. So you are accessing the power supply from engine control room. As I told you, inside of the power supply cabinet, you'll find 60 ampere breaker for each MPC. The power supply is 24 volts direct current. So you are looking between these fuse for the fuse for the breaker, 60 ampere breaker. You are looking for the breaker tagged scavenge control unit, and you are switching off this breaker. Scavenge control unit, I switch off. You will notice that now LED is turned off. Okay? Before to start any replacing of the MPC, or now we are aware that the MPC is damaged, but in case you are just replacing what you are testing the MPC, you are interchange the MPC. Before to start, please touch several times the cabinet in order to demagnetize yourself, in order to not create electrostatic discharge between you and electrical components of the MPC. Nowadays, also MAN, it's offer a strap which is connected to your hand and to the cabinet in such a way to have always the same electrostatic charge. Okay, after you switch off the breaker, disconnect the power supply plug. So this is the power supply plug, disconnect from MPC. Disconnect the network cable. So we have 2 networks which connect all the controller, network A and network B. He will disconnect these 2 networks. Network A, network bit. As I told you, each plug, it's tagged with the number according with the connectors or is request to connect on the MPC. So each wire it's tagged accordingly with the connectors number available on the MPC. After you disconnect the network, disconnect the ID key. As I told you, each engine control system have a unique ID key for each controller configuration. The ID key, it will remain always attached to the panel, okay? So ID key to remain attached to the panel. You will notice that I will remove the MPC from the place. The ID key to remain on the same place. After that, is required to disconnect the electrical cables one by one. As I told you, all of them are tags. If you are not confident about the number of the tags, please make a picture. But whatever, as the engine was still in or was in operation, I assume that each tags it's according tags it will be according with the connectors from MPC. Sometimes it will happen to be some mistake, but usually it's in sea trial, in shop test. So whatever, if you are not take over a new vessel, I assume that all the tags of the wire are corresponding with the connectors number. So you remove one by one the plugs from the MPC. Okay, so you'll see we don't have any connection available on the MPC. Next step, remove the MPC from the position. On each side of the MPC we have 4 screw, 8 in total is required to remove this screw. I will use this position because it's easier for me to remove from this position. For all other position it will be much more difficult to replace. Okay, gentlemen, so this is one MPC, common hardware, which can be configured in different role. Come on, why you are looking like that? Let's try to play a little bit with the focus. Can you hear me?
Yes, all good.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
okay. So, gentlemen, what are the components of the MPC? We have this LED indicator. Now it's switched off. Battery, as I told you, is not a critical equipment. It's used just to keep the internal clock of the MPC. We have the power supply board where you find all these fuses which protect different channel and the main fuse of the power of the MPC, the main fuse. Sorry, I'll just leave this here. On the front side, we have S1 deep switches, this one. For normal operation, all these deep switch S1 must be in off condition. So this is a new MPC from MN. I removed the package, the plastic bag and whatever was packed. And before to install, I make this check. The S1 deep switch, all of them must be in off. The side deep switches, number 1. Okay, the side are this one, number 1 and number 8 in off condition. So the external one, 1 and 8 in off condition, 2 to 7 in on condition, 1 and 8 off, 2 to 7 on. So you notice below the deep switches a label with the color of deep switch. The name of these deep switches are color deep switches from the side of the MPC. Near the deep switch area, you have a white button or a black button which is used to reset. So by pushing this button, you reset the MPC. This one from here. Okay, it's a reset button. Okay, I make this check. S1 deep switch, front deep switch, it's all of them off. 1 and 8 off, 2 to 7 on.
Oh, just a quick question.
Please.
So you talked about that they sometimes freezes up. Is it only necessary to just push the reset button then?
Yes. So sometimes if it get freeze, depend of the controller. If the controller type it's ECU, engine control unit, or engine interface control unit, where the controller are duplicated, you can press the reset button also when the engine is at full speed. But you have different type of the controller like auxiliary control unit, CCU, scavenge control unit, cooling water control unit is required to operate with the engine in slowdown when you are pressing the reset. Why? If let's assume that you are reset on one auxiliary control unit. If you are reset on an auxiliary control unit and you are running a stir, when you are reset, automatically the pump it will control from full ahead to no, from full ahead how is the pump surge play during the faulty signal, during the failure of the MPC. And now if it is reset and it's operating automatically, you will have a hydraulic shock in the hydraulic system, because from full how is control, it will take the control the pump. Similar with the CCU, if it's resetted, whatever, if one CCU is failed, you have slowdown. Is required to operate still with the vessel in slowdown as long as you reset. If you are increase the speed and the slowdown is resetted, because you can reset the slowdown, and you can increase the engine to 80%, 75%, the normal speed for the engine operation with what unit cut out. But at 80% engine load, maybe the fuel index, it will be 60%. So if you reset during 60% engine load, automatically the respective faulty MPC, if is resetting, it will control the respective CCU at the respective engine load. So you will have a suddenly 60% fuel injection on the respective unit. So whenever you make a reset, the engine is in underway, is required to perform the reset as slowdown. If you cannot stop the engine. But as I told you, if it's engine interface control unit or it's engine control unit, you can reset them underway the actual engine speed, because they are duplicated controller, so nothing it will happen. I mean, the respective controller it will reset and it will take the control if it's the unit A. But if you reset either controller, which is control the mechanical equipment, they will control suddenly at the actual engine load. So if you have high load, it will create some shock in your on your engine. So is required before reset or during the reset to be in slow down the engine to operate in a low speed. Clear?
Yes.
Good. So we discuss the position of the deep switches, and now you are taking this controller and you install back on the place. Gentlemen, at the installation of the place, you are connect all the wire in reverse order. So you connect the connectors, the plugs, you are connecting the ID key, you are connect the network and power source. When you will connect the power source, automatically the LED, it will start to blink between two red lights, one green for around 5 seconds. It will be short period. If you notice on the LED code information, 2 red, 1 green, it means application download, looking or scanning for the server. Server is the MOPs. After these 5 seconds, so the MPC found the respective server. As I told you, this is a new MPC from MAN out because his end is blank. automatic the respective software, it will start to be downloaded. This will it will take around 4-5 minutes, the downloading and installation of the application. And as long this step is it's performing, the LED will blink between 2 red lights, 2 green lights. After 4-5 minutes, automatically the LED will turn in green condition if the MPC is operating normal. If the MPC was old, as I told you, it's new one. Its MPC is new one, and probably it's damaged from the manufacturer. And it's turned to LED is turned to red. You press a reset button. You try to reinstall the program. If it's still not operating, this means that the MPC is failed. Could be also some cases on the new MPC doesn't operate to the poor management transfer to the vessel or other condition. Probably it's possible to not operate. But in most cases, from 2 red to green, which is this application download, installation, the LEDs turn to green. Gentlemen, we made yesterday an exercise. When a CCU was failed, we don't have in spare, and we replace the CCU, failure CCU, with a controller from another place. So let's assume that we have a failure in CCU3. I disconnect the CCU3 MPC. I remove. I take a MPC from scavenge control unit. So gentlemen, now this MPC from scavenge control unit, I want to install on CCU3 controller type. It is required to perform any action.
No, just only the installation of the keys.
Yes, so is nothing. I make the same checks. S1 off, 1 and 8 off, 2 to 7 on from the side, this from the down, okay? And I will connect this on CCU3. In this moment, when I connect the ID key, I will connect the ID key on the port. Automatically, it will realize a conflict between the ID key and application which is installed now on this controller. On this controller, we have application scavenge control unit. The ID key is request to be CCU3. So we have different application. We have a conflict between the ID key and MPC. ID key have priority. So in this moment, automatically, the ID key, it will ask to the MPC to erase, to delete previous application, which is scavenge control unit, and to install the CCU3 application according with the ID key identification. So it's not required to do any additional job from our side if we are interchange the MPC from our engine. Is it clear? Good. Gentlemen, let's assume that this is a failure CCU3. And I found in my in my spare an old MPC. So I found an old MPC, used MPC in spare, and I didn't know the provenience source of this MPC. Is required to perform a job for an old MPC found in spare without any mark, without the provenience source for this old MPC?
No, basically to check the switches and that's it.
Yes, we are checking the switches, but because we didn't know the source of the provenience of this MPC, if this MPC, I want to install a CCU on the CCU3, but this is old one. If this MPC was used a CCU3 on other vessel, when I connect the ID key it will tell to this CCU, to this MPC, you must be CCU3. And this MPC, it will give the answer, I am CCU3. And it will not be any conflict. But the application CCU3 from other vessel is different than on my vessel. Maybe it was CCU3 on 9-cylinder, and now I want to install a CCU3 on 6-cylinder engine. So the application is different, okay? But because the name of the application is CCU3, it will not be any conflict, and the engine, it will operate, this MPC, it will operate with a CCU3 application from another engine. So gentlemen, when you doesn't know the provenience of any MPC, so you find the MPC in your store without have any information about it, is required to perform a force download. What is force download? Is required to ask manually to the MPC to erase the previous software and to install the software according with the ID key, actual ID key, which will be connected to the MPC. Is it clear? How you perform the force download? You are accessing the side dip switch, color dip switch, and you switch the position of number 4, the dip switch yellow number 4, from on to off. Okay, so before installation, you change the position of number 4 from on to off. Okay, and now you are installing the MPC on place. So on our simulator, we install the same MPC on scavenge control unit controller, and will perform a force download. I cannot do interchange by myself between two of these MPC to different controller, because this is the single position where I can manage alone to replace the MPC. So gentlemen, I ask to this MPC to perform a force download. When I connect the MPC on place, the step, it will be similar. I connect the wire in the reverse order, and I will switch on the breaker, the power supply. At the power supply connection, the LED will start to blink 2 red, 1 green, looking for the server, scanning for the server for around 5 seconds. It will change 2 red to green, downloading the software. And now we have an additional step then, which is required to do then in the new MPC, and this will be identified by LED blinking code 2 red, 3 green. This is means application downloaded. Please switch the dip switch number 4 back in on, because now the dip switch number 4, it's in off condition. We are asking a force download, erase and install. Okay. Okay, I am turning ahead. I want a stand. Okay, let's go to the LED code information. Okay, in this area. And now I will connect this MPC back on the place, and will perform a force download for this MPC. Generally, if you notice, the ID key always remain connected to the respective panel from where I remove the MPC. So I just connect just 2 screws, because I don't have any vibration here, and it's much more easy for me to manage myself just from 2 screws. Okay, so I connect on the place, and I will connect in reverse order. I will start with the plugs. I'm looking for the number on the wire G20, and I'm looking for the number on the connectors from MPC G20.
Oh, you turned the camera.
G21. Okay, wait a little bit. G21. Now let's adjust the camera. Sorry. Okay, so the MPC it's on the place. This is G35 on the tags, wire tags. I'm looking for the connectors G35. 45 G35 is this one. G70 is this one. G37, G37, and IRM. Okay. So I connect this this plug from the wires, and I will connect the networks, the ID key, okay, let's tie a little bit. We are connecting the power supply plug, and we are switching on the breaker. Gentlemen, please monitor the LED indication. So now it's orange. So in initialization, two red, one green, two red, one green, two red, two green. So gentlemen, at the initial stage was orange, steady orange, initialization, or not parameter available. After few seconds initialization, or for initialization, orange button active, orange color active, was turned to the blinking color, two red, one green. And if we are checking on the presentation on LED information code, two red, one green, this means application download in progress, scanning for server. Now the LED code is indicate two red, two green, which means application download in progress, downloading program. So the software is downloading. So gentlemen, even the scavenge control unit application was installed on this MPC. If you notice now is making a download because we ask to perform a force download. The deep switch number 4, it's in off condition. Clear? Let's wait to realize this downloading of the program time. Two red, two green, still two red, two green. Okay, let's 1, 2 red, 1, 2, 3 green. So gentlemen, if you notice now the LED was changed the flashing mode from 2 to 2 red, 3 green. Okay, this means that the installation was taking place, and for normal operation of the respective MPC is required to change the deep switch number 4 in on. So if you check on an LED information code, what is this remote? So now if we are changing on the if we are looking at all LED code information, 2 red, 3 greens, application download completed, reset yellow deep switch, set to on. So in order to allow the MPC to operate normal, is required to change back the deep switch number 4 in on condition. So I will just turn to on the deep switch number 4, and let's see what is happening with the deep switch. Now it's in orange. With the LED, it's orange. After installation is making a initialization. Okay, gentlemen, still on initialization. It's around 1 minute initialization after the installation. And you notice now the LED is turning steady green color. This means that the respective controller is operating normal on the engine control system. Let's access the let's access the MOP. After you make the replacement, any replacement, we are accessing the MOP maintenance menu. And in the maintenance menu, we'll access the controller which was replaced. If you notice, it's still not available. Now it's turned in available mode. We are accessing the controller and we are checking if all the connectors was appropriate or the plugs or appropriate connect to the connectors according to the tags of the plug. So if you will notice that we have not any alarm available, this means that the connection was appropriately done. If we make any mistake during the connection, now I'll change the connector G37 from the plug G37 from the connector G37. I will connect on G45. So I remove the G37 and I connect on G45 connector from MPC. The plug I remove and I connect on a different different connector. And you notice that for respective connectors which doesn't have an appropriate connection, an alarm was activated. It's activated. You notice this one? So we have an alarm in the area where the electrical cable was not appropriate connect. So on G37 is nothing connected. You notice that was make a mistake in the connection of the respective wire. So now I connect back on G37 on the respective connectors. Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Gentlemen, we discussed that the can you hear me?
Yeah, so good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we are discussing that the ID key purpose is to identify what kind of the software to be installed on each application. But what will happen if one of the ID key, it will so suffer a damage, a failure. Let's access the alarm channel list and let's see the one alarm of the electrical ID key alarm. ID key corrupt. Info. Description of this alarm, the MPC cannot read ID key data. What can cause this alarm? ID key is not plugged in, ID key data is corrupted, ID key hardware failure or MPC failure. Gentlemen, let's assume that from this cause, the cause is the ID key hardware failure. If you notice the effect, no immediate effect on the engine performance. Why? Because now the application is already installed. So the application is already installed on the respective MPC according with the ID key request. But the problem is appear after we are restarting or resetting the MPC. Effect, the MPC may not function correctly after a restart. Why? Because the MPC we do not know what kind of the software to operate. If this alarm is activated for more than 5 minutes, check the ID key is plugged incorrectly. If the problem persists, replace one at a time ID key or MPC. We don't discuss, let's assume that MPC is working properly. So if the problem persists, replace ID key. So gentlemen, we can replace an ID key. But as we know now, we have different ID key configuration, unique configuration. For 9S90 engine, we have 18 MPCs. So we have 18 unique ID key. So do you think that in your spare you have 18 ID keys? No, you will not have 18 ID keys with different configuration, unique configuration. You have one ID key and this ID key is blank. Okay? So it's required to configure the the blank ID key accordingly with the failure ID key, with the corrupted ID key. How you will perform this configuration? We need to change the presentation. I will change the presentation. I think this one. ID key programming. So gentlemen, let's assume that the scavenge was received the alarm. Scavenge control unit ID key corrupted. We can operate the engine without to reset this MPC as long as you can. But if we are resetting the MPC, it will not operate normally. So if we have a power failure or if you reset, it's required to configure a blank ID key as ID key for scavenge control unit. What is the procedure? The procedure is displayed on our presentation. Let's see the procedure. Disconnect power to the MPC in question. So in our case, the scavenge control unit ID key is corrupted. We are removing this ID key and we are disconnect the power to the MPC in question and set deep switch S1 according to the section 0. What is the deep switch S1? The deep switch S1, there are deep switches from the front side. The deep switches from the side are color deep switches. So we arrange the deep switch which normally are in off condition, all of them in off condition, the S1 deep switch, according to a section 0. Let's see which are the section 0. This is the section 0. So gentlemen, accordingly for each ID key which is required to configure a blank ID key, in our case is required to configure an ID key for scavenge control unit. Is it clear? So deep switch S1 must be arranged in this way. Number 1 on, 2 on, 3 on, 4 0, 5 on, 6 on, 7 on, 8 on. Okay, so it's required to arrange the deep switches in this way. But we have a mention. We are reading from left to right. When we are making the adjustment of the deep switch of MPC, the adjustment, it will start from right to left. So gentlemen, I read this one. One is not this one. Is not this one. This is number 1, 2, 3. On. So this must be on. But this first of all is not this one, is this one. So you arrange in reverse order. I don't know why man is making this reverse way of arrangement. I don't know what is the purpose because some people are confused. So this must be on, off, on. Okay, so they are arranged in the reverse order. You don't have this in the in your operating manual, but you receive, in case it's required to configure an ID key, you receive this procedure by email. So be aware that the binary setting in the relation to the number of deep switch S1 are in reverse order. Is it clear? So for, let's assume CCU 15, it's 1, 1, 1. So this one, it's this one, 1, 1, they are in reverse order. Is it clear?
Yeah, but in that case, basically we are simulating the ID key, yeah?
No, you don't simulate it. You configure a blank ID key.
No, I understand, but I mean, like,
yes,
this is giving the key,
unique,
and
unique.
then from the from the main panel, it will download to the key whatever we put in.
Yes, it will download the unique ID to the key. Yes, this is true. So, gentlemen, after you disconnect the power supply, you arrange the deep switch according with the mentioned section. Connect the power to the MPC. You'll connect the power to the MPC. The startup program registered that the ID key is not connected and the LED show error for red to green. So because you remove the failure, the corrupted ID key, you don't have any ID key now. You connect the blank ID key, connect the ID key. The ID key will now be programmed according to the deep switch setting. After program is finished, the LED will flash code 4 red, 3 green, indicate that the deep switch can be set to neutral. So the ID key configuration was complete and is required to change the deep switch back to off condition like for normal using. set the dip switch to neutral position. So now are all in the neutral position, and it will start to program the MPC. So the boot sequence will proceed, and the LED will flash the code 2 red, 1 green, scanning for server, 2 red, 2 green installation, and after that it will be in green condition if the MPC is operating normally. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Gentlemen, but we have a case. Let's assume that you don't have ID key. What you will do? So you look for the ID key, but you don't find the ID key in spare. What you will do in this case? So we have another. This is from service manual. I mean, maybe you don't remember this, how you make this adjustment, but at least you will know that you can still operate the engine even without the ID key. So gentlemen, if you don't have the ID key or you don't find the ID key, we can still operate the engine, but we are keeping the S1 deep switch arrangement according with the section. So let's assume that for scavenge control unit, we didn't find, we don't have ID key, we didn't find the blank ID key. So we're keeping the arrangement of the deep switch S1, the arrangement of the deep switch S1 accordingly with the node ID, according with the arrangement for the unique ID key. And the color deep switch number 5, we are turning to off. So the deep switch number 5, colored one, what is this one? Huh? We have an MPC multi. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is the reaction of the MPC based on the color deep switch arrangement. So as I told you, we don't find the ID key to configure. We allow the deep switch S1 according with the setup for the unique ID key, and the deep switch, color deep switch number 5, which is normally in on, default MPC gets node ID from dongle. So if it's on, it's taking the MPC, is taking information from the ID key. But if we don't have the ID key, MPC, we are turning the deep switch 5 green to off. MPC gets node ID from deep switch instead of the dongle. So in this moment, the MPC to not download the software according with the ID key information, because we don't have ID key, it will download the software according with the arrangement of the front deep switches. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So from time being, it's important just to remember that we can still operate the engine even we don't have the ID keys. Whatever the normal operation is with the ID key in place. Otherwise, we just mix too many deep switches and we can confuse the crew member can be confused. For time being, it's important to know that the purpose of the ID key is to give the appropriate information about the software which is required to be installed on each MPC. In case of the ID key is corrupted and the MPC is reset, is required to configure a new ID key according to the section S1 from the operating manual, if this will be available, or not from the procedure which I show you earlier. If we don't have an ID key, it's important to remember that we still can operate the engine. You just send the email to MN or to other assistance crew maker or whatever, and they can give you the instruction how to operate further the engine without the ID keys in place. Is it clear? Okay, gentlemen, if everything is clear, let's take 15 minutes break. And I think we complete the first topic of our course of the engine control system chapter, multi-purpose controller. We will continue in 50 minutes with the Tahoe system. Is it clear?
Yeah, okay. Good.